Okay, this is a comeback video to my last video about the Shartac 775 grain single bevel broadheads formed after Dr. Ed Ashby's work. So many people said we really want to see how many of the wooden 8mm plywood boards this thing can penetrate when it's not tearing the entire box apart. And that question has a right to exist, I think, because definitely a lot of energy was invested into, just disintegrating the whole thing. So this time we're gonna really screw it down and we're gonna reinforce it so that hopefully the box itself will withstand the impact of the 5 Newton seconds of an momentum that this thing delivers. So last time I was using a regular normal board, wooden board, and as you see at the points where they were screwed down, they were ripped to pieces, torn apart. This time I used a 10mm plywood board, which you cannot really destroy that way. And then also what I did is I installed a much larger base plate with a lot more screws to actually hold them down. And then also this here, I attached wooden boards from both sides. So this is what I now call the wood screw graveyard. And I think this time it will hold. Also, what I did is I further stabilized the entire box here with another board that prevents it hopefully from shifting backwards too much. Now, a lot of people said that target is too easy and firearms would easily penetrate it. Well, of course I was exaggerating a little bit, like a high power rifle round would definitely go through this whole thing. But see how thick 6 of these 8mm boards are. It's almost 5 centimeters, like 2 inches of plywood. That is a lot of plywood. And it turns out, for whatever reason, I'm sure the geeks amongst my audience will definitely explain it in the comments, hopefully. If you set them apart, so like there's a little space between, it seems like it's harder to penetrate these. There's a great website, it's called the Box of Truth, and I actually put the link down there for you. Simply because they do all these kinds of experiments. And actually, they found out that multiple layers of plywood, even for powerful firearm rounds, are not easy to penetrate. And at some point, they typically deviate and leave the box. So in any case, it will be very interesting to see what this thing, fired from my trusted €300 EK Archery Hex 400 crossbow, will do to the target. It held. So we have the same picture. It came in low, so it had to go through this wooden board in front first, and then it went through 2 of them. But don't underestimate the amount of energy that it takes to make such a hole into the plywood. It soaks up much more energy than, of course, anything else. Now, since we have this thing and we have 2 more spare boards, I'm going to try the 375 grain broadhead next, that is also available from Shartac. So this is the one next to its big brother. And it looks tiny, but if you compare it to the 100 grain original one that I was testing, you can see it's still a huge difference. This is still massive. It's actually 3.75, almost 4 times heavier than this one. All right. Okay, so this one crashed through 3 boards. Let me see if I can pull it out. Whoa. Okay, so as you can clearly see, this one crashed through 3 boards, not just 2. And the amount of damage, again, is amazing. Since we still have enough boards for one more test, I'm testing the field tip in 375 grain that you can also buy from Shartac, because that one seems sleek and is still pointy enough. All right, the last shot of the day. Now this one did really well, because it completely penetrated a total of 4 boards and is poking out at the rear end, which is about the same kind of penetration that this famous German Broadhead has. The German Jäger. Jäger means hunter, by the way. So, interesting results. It's also interesting to see, well, this was actually an earlier damage, that no arrow so far has managed to penetrate more than 4 boards. So this could now be my official test box for more powerful crossbows to come along. Okay. Now my verdict on these arrows is that I think of these as more like of the hollow point bullets of the archery world. Why? Because they're optimized for stopping power. Those are not optimized for penetration. You know, what is the benefit of an arrow that goes straight through your game, causing very little damage? I mean, these here are supposed to stick inside of the game and cause a massive amount of injuries, breaking bones. Actually, this thing here, this is more like a flying hatchet, really, a flying meat cleaver that destroys everything in its path. And definitely I think it will bring down game faster than a regular Broadhead. And that is exactly what Dr. Ed Ashby found out in almost 30 years of eager research on these things. So, if you want something with a lot of stopping power, these are the ones to go for. I'm absolutely sure about this. Hope you like this. Thanks and bye-bye.